say something?
All right, first title fight here of the evening. Teddy Politis, Brandon Maillet, Fevens. Fevens in the cage right now at a CMBJJ. He is 4-3. He's got 3 submission victories, 1 TKO victory. His last fight was at NEF 51, a round 2 RNC victory over Johnny Milligan. Go back to a couple fights ago. He lost to Nathaniel Grimard for the 145 strap, NEF 44. And early on in his career, 2019, he was 3-0 for NEF, all finishes. So he's looking to get back to that as he takes on a surging fighter at Evolution Athletics, 5-1 Teddy Politis.
Yeah, this is a good scrap, man. You got some real good fighters coming up, man. Teddy Politis, real strong fighter. Brandon Maillet, Fevens. When I interviewed him, he said fighting's just fighting, man. This ain't nothing. He's been to some real dark places in the service. He says this is fun, you know. So he keeps it in perspective.
Politis, 3 submission victories, 1 TKO win. April is his last fight. UD win at Art of Scrap 6. He actually...
Ladies and gentlemen, this next matchup is brought to you by the Whaley Restaurant of Auburn, Maine. Next time you're driving through Auburn, Maine, stop off at the Whaley Restaurant for the best Chinese food around. Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is scheduled for 5 3-minute rounds for the NEF Amateur Featherweight Championship. Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner to my right. He comes to us representing Team CMBJJ. Ladies and gentlemen, no stranger to New England fights, Brandon Maillet Fevens. And his opponent, fighting out of the red corner to my left. He comes to us representing Evolution Athletics. Ladies and gentlemen, Teddy Politis. 5 rounds, vacant NEF Amateur Featherweight title.
I keep hearing his last name pronounced differently. Politis Politis. I was told it was Politis, so that's what I'm going to go with. I apologize if that's not the case.
Let's just call him Teddy.
Yeah, well, okay, perfect. Very good. So we'll go with Teddy versus Brandon here. This is for the vacant 145 strap. I was going to mention before we got into Pete to do the announcements here. At Cage Titans 58, Teddy, round 1 guillotine choke win over Key Baltazar for the 135 title. So signature win right there. This kid's 5-1. He's very, very good, and he's got a tough test on his hand tonight against Brandon Fevens.
Yeah, and Brandon said he had the best camp of his life, I think. And he with his female counterpart, Cassidy Bedard, training out of the same school, said they trained hard together, and he said he's never felt so ready for a fight.
Man, starting rounds this way is one of the toughest things, because when you start a round, you're trying to adapt for possibly fighting 3 rounds. You know, so if you start a round like this at this level, what do? Do you slow down?
Lactic acid. Right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you gotta come in and you gotta figure out how you want to fight these 3 rounds and figure out what your opponent has. This is almost just like setting yourself up for failure, as we're seeing now.
Yeah. Good point. Brandon looks good. Teddy.
Brandon looks calm.
Yeah.
You know, he looks calm, and he looks like, you know, he knows what his opponent has for him, which Politis, I don't think he knows, because he came out he just came out too hard, in my opinion, just grabbing, which I bet he has way better striking than what we've seen.
Yeah. Well, Politis, I mean, Brandon also said he had an injury-free camp, which never happens for him.
Or anyone.
I think, yeah. So he said really limited injuries in his camp.
Well, right now, Brandon is looking fantastic. He's on top of Politis here early going in the first round of this title fight. And if this does stay on the ground here, Brandon's got 3 submission victories, so he's got the ability to get this fight over with.
Yeah, it's just, you know, I'm just seeing that amateur thing, you know, you're on the ground and you're hooking their head, man. You got to find ways to get an underhook or, you know, a wizard. But, sometimes early in the fight you get lucky and you're able to get up that way, but longevity, that's just not the way.
Yeah, well, we're going to see who tires out, right? I mean, both of these guys obviously well conditioned, but we'll see if somebody gets a little bit tired.
Brandon dominating this round.
Yeah, he's got the round so far. He's taking his back right now too, almost.
It's clear what the game plan is for Fevens in there,
Yeah.
guys, right? He wants to
Yeah.
wrestle him. He wants to get him to the ground,
Yeah.
which he's doing. And he's got to hold the
back.
neck right now. He could get
Oh.
an RNC.
Politis getting to his knees, doing a good job just
Yes,
rolling.
good
oh,
job.
wow.
Good
Very
job by
impressive.
Politis. Yep.
Very impressive.
10 seconds left in the first round of this title fight.
And we will see a second.
Brandon Maillet Fevens looking really good here early on. 10-9 for Fevens. You guys both agree?
Yeah, 10-9.
Yeah, 10-9. Top pressure. No damage, but top pressure. I think there was a little damage actually early on by Brandon.
Yeah, good round by Brandon. And I think, his camp seems really calm. When I spoke to him, he didn't seem rattled. He didn't seem nervous. He's been in here so many times, too. What's his record again, Ryan?
He's 4-3.
4-3. His 8th trip to the cage.
And the great thing, even as an amateur, about these NEF title fights, 5 rounds.
Oh, yeah. So let's hope that condition.
Brandon's 4-3?
Yeah.
And what about Teddy?
Teddy
is 5-1, so.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of experience in this cage right now.
A lot, yeah. I think it showed in that grappling exchange when Brandon took his back.
Yep.
And
he got to those knees, and that didn't work, so he got to the back, and then he got back to the knees, and then back to the back.
But Politis rolled, and Brandon stayed with him, and they rolled like 3 or 4 times. Eventually, Politis getting out of his back, getting his back taken. Here we go.
Yep. All right, round 2. We'll see what adjustments Teddy Politis makes here.
Oh, they're throwing.
Yeah,
they're throwing
trading here. Politis coming forward.
Oh, nice head kick by Brandon.
Hard head kick by Brandon.
I think his hand was up. I couldn't see from this angle.
You see all that water just go everywhere?
I got sprayed.
He didn't face Politis, though,
No,
apparently.
these two really seasoned, tough guys. Another head kick.
He had to give it back. Politis agreed with himself apparently on that stool that I'm here to fight, so I'm going to bring the fight.
Well, I was going to say, I think that's what the game plan was from his coach Nate Libby in the corner, is to let's stand and trade with this guy. Enough of the wrestling, being pressed up against the cage. Let those hands fly here in round 2.
Yep, and he's doing a good job listening.
Left, overhand left from the southpaw.
And Teddy is blocking those, but they still score high for the judges. But these strikes here on the cage, this is scoring. Oh, man, he needs to get back to striking. Oh. Nice takedown. Excellent takedown. I just hate to see him having so much success on the stand-up and feeling like he needs a takedown. Because times like now, okay, Teddy doing a great job shifting his weight back.
He's got Brandon's neck.
Yeah, he does.
I can't see from this angle.
Yeah, it's tough.
It might be in.
That's
That's it. Brandon tapped. Teddy Politis, round 2 RNC win, and we have a new amateur featherweight champion.
And they're sitting right in front of us talking it out. Good fight, fellas. Good job.
I want to touch him. Almost.
You got him.
I got him a little bit ill.
Oh, thanks. I hope my wife don't see that. She'll make me burn this coat.
Best seat in the building, people.
All right. I love it.
Well, impressive adjustments there from Teddy Politis and his team going into round 2. He knew that as far as grappling goes and being pressed up against the cage, that wasn't going to do him any favors to secure a victory. Right. So instead, he goes back to the striking, which does some damage, ultimately gets him to the ground, gets the neck, and we have a new champ.
I saw something. I'm going to jump in and say we're probably going to go to Pete Simbor real quick for the decision, but I want to mention something after.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes at 1 minute 34 seconds of round number 2. Your winner via submission due to a rear naked choke from Biddeford, Maine, and now the NEF Amateur Featherweight Champion, Teddy Politis. Politis.
Brandon looking at that belt like, man, that would have looked nice on me.
You know, after the first round, at which I think Brandon won 10-9, I saw Teddy walk over to his corner, and he had this look of like, nah, man, I'm not happy with that. I'm not happy with that. No, I can do better. That's what I got from it. I could be wrong, but he looked and he was shaking his head no. I'm like, why is he shaking his head no? And then I realized, you know, he's like, nah, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, something clicked in him for the second round, and he put himself in that higher spot, and he showed it.
I think that's
victory.
why he has 5 wins and 1 loss, you know, and his opponent had 3 and 2. Now
4 and 3.
Yeah, you know, just because he gets
Mindset.
it. Yeah,
Mindset.
mindset. He understands what he's being told. He's present in these moments where he can listen to what's being said to you. Very impressive kid.
Right, process it all.